Made it to February and the last week here has been absolutely stunning. So much sun and it's been pretty warm considering the time of year. But don't let that lull you into a false sense of security. There is still the risk of things like snow and frost, so you need to think about protecting some of the plants that you may have that are still vulnerable to those this time of the year. But if you have an area that you can sow some seeds that's under cover and you can keep frost free, there are some seeds you can be sowing now. So today I'm going to sow some flowers, and this year I really want to fill out my flower borders with as much as I possibly can that I've sown from home. So today I'm going to do 3 different seeds and I'll take you through them now. So the first flower I'm going to sow this year is going to be some lupins. I've bought lupins before in shops and I've just never been able to get on with them, but the ones I've sown and grown at home have done really, really well. So I'm going to do the same again this year, and I'm hopefully going to have quite a few of them. This packet has 20 seeds in them. I might even do a few more because these are stunning flowers once they get going. I'll also be growing some aster for the first time, so really looking forward to seeing how these turn out. So the final flower I'll be sowing today is Nasturtium, and it's a really good companion plant to your veg patch. It's also got some edible flowers, as long as you make sure you get the right variety of it. These will attract pests away from your crops, such as black fly and other aphids, but they'll also attract some of the more beneficial insects that will hopefully keep a lot of those pests under control. So a really, really good plant to have around your home, kitchen garden or your allotment. I'll sow the aster into some seed trays that have got compost in that are pre-watered, because it really does need to be moist for the seeds to germinate. Once the seeds are spread out nice and evenly within there, I'll need to make sure that they're within a propagator. So I'm going to use a heated propagator just to give them a really good opportunity to actually kick off and germinate. But if you want to, you can just cover them over with a normal plastic propagator and just make sure they're in the sun or somewhere warm like a windowsill. All we need now is a light covering of compost just to cover the seeds up. Not too much, because you need them to germinate and push through. Now that we've got the seeds in the trays and we've got a light dusting of compost over them, just going to give them a good water to give them a good chance to germinate, and we're going to make sure the heating's on and they're covered up with the propagator. Next up is lupins, and they'll be going 1 seed per station. I've just pre-watered the compost because it was pretty dry, and again it would be really good for the seeds to go into moist compost rather than dry compost. And hopefully these will then grow quite nicely in here. I may need to pot them on a bit later on before I put them out into the actual flower border. What's nice about these Johnson seed packets is that they do come with a label, so that'll be pretty handy once I've put these seeds in. So next we'll be sowing Nasturtium, and they'll be going 1 seed to a station as well, and they need to be around about 1.5 centimetres deep, and you don't want to be pushing down and making the soil too firm because it's actually quite sensitive and it won't necessarily be able to breach the soil if you push it down too firmly. So just a really light covering and that should be okay. So I'm just going to use my finger to create some holes for the seeds to go in. Probably should have let this soak in for a bit longer, but I need to get them in. So these are by far the biggest seeds I'll be sowing today. So I'm just going to place them into the holes I've made and ensure they get to the bottom. Very loose covering of soil. I'm not looking to firm those down at all.
I've made a promise to myself this year that I'm actually going to label everything that I sow. I'm going to be using these aluminium label holders and printing some labels out to go on them, because I got pretty fed up with the plastic ones you can get from the garden centre. With the seeds all in and labelled, it's just the power going on for the heated propagator and propagation bench. And the final task is just to update my diary so I know when I sowed these seeds.
So despite it being pretty early in the year and there's high risk the weather is going to be bad over the next couple of months, there are some things that you can start sowing now. I'm sowing some seeds that require a little bit of heat to help them germinate, and I'm doing that through heated propagation, and that's in a propagator and a heated bed that I have available here. But not everyone's going to have those, so you can get away with a windowsill inside your house. So give it a try and see how you get on this year. So if you enjoy this sort of content, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. Next episode, I'll be going through my seed potatoes and how I'm going to be setting them off and hopefully having a good harvest later on this year. I'll see you next time.